What's up, guys? Balmont here. So today I bring you MADiSON. It's a newly released horror game, but there's a question about this. Is this game just like every single generic horror game we've been fed for the past couple of years, or is it actually something worthy? Join me on this spoiler-free review so we can find out. Let's go! The very first thing I'm gonna say about MADiSON right off the bat is that in here you have no firearms or melee weapons to defend yourself. Your only piece of equipment is your camera. However, this is not your regular Polaroid camera, no sir. This camera that seems to have come straight from hell actually has some very unique features to it. First and foremost, you will be changing the reality around you once you take very specific pictures of certain objects and areas in the game. Now, this is gonna play a central role in your navigation, in your survival, in your time with MADiSON. Corridors shift, doors disappear, new passages are revealed. And this all blends in very perfectly with the story, because you see, in MADiSON it's very hard to understand what's real and what's not, because there will be many times where, for example, you are gonna be seeing something that happened in the past, but you will experience those things as if they were happening to you right on the spot. If you pay attention to the way the camera wobbles even when you're standing still, this furthers the idea that there's something really wrong with your character, that there's something that's actively affecting his perception of the world around himself. And pretty early into the game, without giving anything away, because again this is a spoiler-free review, you will come across certain documents or perhaps a very particular cassette tape which will tell you what exactly causes those hallucinations. And further commentary by Luca, who is the leading character, will also always be, how can I put this, shedding some light indirectly into what's going on around you. It gives you just enough information for you to keep extrapolating everything you know so far, so you can begin thinking, well, maybe this is happening, maybe that person had something to do with this, or maybe a particular relative of mine thinks I had something to do with some very specific and macabre occurrences in the game. So really, you won't know if you are responsible for a lot of the things you are seeing, or if it was someone else, until the game wants you to know those things. This is something I really appreciate in horror games. They feed you enough information, and trust me, you will be constantly fed lots of engaging and interesting story bits, but never enough to give everything away from the outset. And this, to me, is the quintessential, this is the critical aspect of any self-respecting horror game. Because you see, scare tactics, they come and go with the weather, they're nothing new, and they do grow old pretty quickly, so having an added layer, having an instigating story to keep you guessing, to keep you tense, is vital. And of course, just like in any good horror game, puzzles are also present. Now, there's something I like to draw your attention to in MADiSON's case, because you see, let's talk about Resident Evil for a little bit. A lot of its puzzles didn't exactly have a lot of bearing on the story itself. I'm talking about the first game. They were fun and very effective ways to make your survival harder, to make the overall experience a lot tenser, but they didn't exactly give you a lot of insight as far as the story itself goes. Now, in here with MADiSON, what I really appreciate is that pretty much every single puzzle, you know, besides the standard get this key, open that door and such, they do shed some light into this game's universe. So there's that added element of storytelling through puzzles, and I'm really glad that the developers, whoever they are, I don't remember, actually played very smart on this, because you see, this is an indie game. Everybody knows it. As soon as you begin playing it, you will realize it. But being an indie game isn't something that makes or breaks a good video game. If you play your cards right, if you manage your resources correctly, then really, man, it doesn't matter if you have a small budget or a really big one. Your game's gonna be good no matter what. And hey, if you are enjoying this video, then please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to help me keep on growing so I can bring you even more cool games. Thank you. And resorting to puzzles is a very cost efficient, I'm not gonna say cheap, because this may sound a little bit demeaning, a little bit degrading, and that is far from what the developers really achieved with MADiSON. But as I was saying, it's a very cost-effective way to lengthen the gameplay experience. However, MADiSON never goes overboard with its puzzles to the point where it makes you think that the game's being padded. It really achieves the perfect balance between gameplay, storytelling, and puzzle solving. And God knows that I have zero tolerance for games that are padded, that use a lot of cheap smoke and mirror tactics to seem bigger and better than they really are. No, MADiSON is a very coherent and above all, honest horror title. It manages to keep you glued to your chair, it manages to keep you interested until the very end. So yes, this is an absolutely solid horror game that's worthy of your time. And let me tell you, brother, this is one scary game. So if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to keep up with our following releases, which are gonna be awesome. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.